Hackers in a hurry.
Do it! Just do it!
What is up, everybody? Heartn here, bringing you guys an hour special, and this entire hour special is dedicated to me facing against hackers, or as some of you call them, cheaters. So this hour special is because we have finally hit 5,000 subscribers, a pretty big milestone in my opinion. So this is a pretty special milestone. Anyway, I was planning to do a 2-hour special, but I decided to split it into 2 parts instead. So this is just part 1 of the 2-hour special, and then part 2 will come out soon. So that's really all I need to say about the why this video is so long. Yeah, there will be another hour special coming very soon. Now anyway, for those of you who are sort of new to my channel, you might be really confused right now. Why am I playing on an account called Mr. O and Mrs. I'll do or something like that? And why am I facing against only hackers? Like right there, that's very clearly a hacker beat. You just can't afford that at this time. So why am I on this account? Well, first of all, this was an account I found online. So somewhere online, someone was giving away this account. I did not know that it was a hacker account. So apparently, the person who used to own this account hacked in Bloons TD battles, and therefore he was placed in the hacker pool. So what that means that the hacker pool, if you're a hacker, you get placed into the hacker pool, and if you're in the hacker pool, you can only play against other hackers. So basically, so with this account, I'm stuck in a position where I can only play other hackers. So this is a really weird position, and that doesn't mean that I'm hacking right now. It just means that the previous owner used to hack, and now that I have this account, I'm playing legitimately, but I'm in the hacker pool, so I can only play against other hackers. So as you guys can see, this person is clearly a hacker. He has a tempo on round 6, clearly not possible. And yeah, so in this video, it's gonna be pure hackers. So I really hope that you enjoy this video because, well, it's not every day that they get to watch a video that's 1 hour of hackers. So as you can see, my opponent has 2 temples already, which is basically impossible at this point. I mean, you can notice that I only have 2 buccaneers and 1 mortar. So when I play against hackers, there's something sort of risky about it. Well, first of all, if your opponent is hacking lives, so that no matter how many lives go through, they can't lose, then basically you have no chance of winning unless they disconnect on you. But if they have money hacks, which means that they have infinite money, like my opponent has here, he has money hacks, but he does not have infinite lives hack because clearly he has lost lives already. So my opponent has infinite money hacks, so that means that with infinite money hacks, it is possible to beat infinite money hackers, because if you send a good rush, Bloons might go through your opponent's side, but really against this opponent has pure tempo, so there's basically no chance of me winning against this person unless we somehow go really late game and I out defend his temples, which even that is just hard, almost impossible. So if I win here, I'm gonna have to be really lucky to win against this hacker, because it's really hard to beat tempo hackers. I mean, really, it's just really hard, especially hackers who use good sacrifices. And as you can see, my opponent, he's not using the best sacrifices. Like, you need more cannons or mortars to get a good temple, but really he's not bad. He knows the towers that you need to sacrifice to the temples to make them good. So he has those, and basically he can't lose. And also, if you guys notice, he doesn't have just regular money hacks, he also has tower placement hacks. So he can place land towers on water and water towers on land. As you can see, there's temples and super monkeys on the water. You can't do that in the actual game if you don't play this game, but I assume that most of you play this game, so I don't even have to mention that. Anyway, I'm getting up buccaneers because what if my opponent sends a mob against me? So I need to be prepared. And this is where I really have to be careful when I play against hackers, because if I get too greedy, then I won't have enough. If I get too greedy and I get more income instead of building towers, then my defense is going to absolutely suck, and I'm going to lose to a rush that the hacker sends against me. But if I'm not greedy enough and I get too much defense and my opponent ends up not sending anything against me, then I could have spent that money on income instead of defense, and I will be better off late game with more income. So you really have to think hard when you play against hackers, especially hackers that might rush you. So you really have to be careful. Now, as you can see, so far this person has not sent anything against me yet, but I still have to be really careful. So instead of getting up a lot more income like I normally would, I'm just making sure that I don't die to anything. So I have to get up a second Ring of Fire to defend the natural Moab, which I get right now. And as you can see, with 2 Ring of Fires and all those Buccaneers, I should defend with no problem. I did lose a little bit of lives there, not a big deal though, only 3 lives lost. And as you can see, my opponent, oh my goodness, you can see all those temples. There's basically no way that I can beat those temples right now. Even if I send infinite Zeo MGs, that can't get past those temples. The only way to beat my opponent is if we go late game, and I mean really late game, as in almost round 60, round 70, then the Moab class Bloons on those rounds, they're so strong that even max temples can't handle them. Yeah, max temples can't handle Zeo MGs on round 60 or 70. And keep in mind, this is the Flash version of BT Battles, not the mobile version. If you guys don't know, the mobile version is the one that you download in the App Store on your phones or iPads or whatever, or the Google Play Store. They're both the mobile version. But the Flash version is the one that you play on ninjakiwi.com, just in case you guys don't know the difference. So on the Flash version, late game is so much harder because the Bloons go super fast and they're super strong. On mobile, they also go fast and they're also strong, but not nearly as fast and not nearly as strong. So as you can see, my defense is basically entirely made up of Buccaneers and Rings of Fire, and just 1 mortar to defend against camos, because the Signal Flare mortar can decamoize Bloons. So that's pretty major. And I see I'm getting up so many Buccaneers, and my income, if it was a competitive game, my income would actually be pretty bad right now. But because I'm against a hacker, then you know, it's actually pretty good, because I might actually have a chance of defending a rush that my opponent sends against me. So if you look closely, my opponent did ask if I was a hacker. I told him maybe, no, I don't hack, I just wanted to, because if I told him that I was hacking, then he would send a huge rush against me trying to beat me, because I am a hacker, because everyone wants to be hackers, right? So he asked if I'm a hacker. I only said maybe, because if I said yes, my opponent would have just rushed me. And if I said no, then my opponent probably would have rushed me, because he knows that I would defend any rush. But unfortunately, I had to leave right there. Yes, I was busy at that point and I had to leave. So I had to surrender the game. Unfortunately, I wish we could have continued, but I really had to go then. So now we're continuing this. I'm playing at a separate time now. So if you don't know, this entire video, I didn't play all these games at one point. I just played some games at this time, and then maybe the next day I played some more games. So this is really just I just gathered up all the videos of me playing against hackers on this account, and I just clumped them together into one video. So just notice that I'm not playing it all at one time. So looking at my opponent right now, he doesn't look like he's hacking yet, but we can't be sure yet, because I mean, yeah, so far he isn't hacking, but he might show something in later on. We'll have to see. Anyway, I just go for the regular Battle Park strategy, which is bomb tower to start, and then a mortar around round 10 to defend against regions, maybe a few ninjas here and there. But people normally go for either a Buccaneer or a farm on Battle Park, but I choose to use a Spike Factory, because I felt like if we go really late game, if this is a hacker, because infinite money, hackers can go really far, then the Spike Factory might be useful, because if you didn't know, the Spike Factory actually is just as good, if not better, than the Super Monkey really late game in Bloons TD Battles. That's really surprising, I know, but it actually works. Just trust me. If you want to say so, if you want to prove that the Super Monkey is better, go right ahead. I feel free to state your opinion. Anyway, my opponent tries to send some Black Bloons against me, but I have my ninja, so that doesn't really do anything. And if you notice, my opponent's defense still looks legitimate. I mean, he actually has a lot of money, but then he gets an Arctic win on round 10, and that's kind of suspicious, considering that he sent a lot of Bloons at me so far, and that's wasted a lot of money by sending the Bloons. And then suddenly he has an Arctic win, Ice Shards, and a 4th tier bomb. So technically, I believe you can afford that if you don't send any Bloons at all. But he sent a lot of Bloons, and if you send Bloons early on, then you really can't afford that. And as you can see, infinite camo regrow rainbows, you cannot afford that. I end up dying to his infinite camo regrow rush because I was not expecting that. Unfortunately, I should have expected it, but I thought he was playing legitimately for a while, but then he sent that infinite camel regenerate rush, which is really hard to defend. It's actually possible to defend it, and spoiler alert, I actually will defend this later on in the video. Yes, I will defend the infinite regenerate rush later on in the video, but that was the first time that I saw it, and unfortunately I did die to it. So we're in our third game in this video, and boom, my opponent already has 2 Bloons ninjas. He got them by round 2, I think. Totally impossible. The earliest you can get a Ring of Fire even is round 5 or late round 4, somewhere around that. But my opponent is just clearly showing that he's hacking. You can't afford all those towers by round 6, which is right now. He's getting all those Rings of Fire, all those Bloons. You can't afford that. So yeah, when you play against hackers, you have to be really careful, because you can either defend infinite rushes by not going too much income, or you can go a lot of income, so you'll be set late game where your opponent might rush then. So you really have to be careful on whether you want to be able to defend a rush now or later, because it's really hard to be able to get enough towers to defend a rush now and save enough money to defend a rush later, as in round 40, because your income just won't be as good if you save up money now. So it's round 15, and round 15 is when ceramics come out, and I have my ninja monkey to distract any ceramics that my opponent might send me, and my opponent sent a lot of ceramics. As you can see, I get on my Bloons monkey, and I lost a lot of lives right there. So that's one of the things about the distraction. So the distraction, it actually depends a lot on luck. So sometimes the ninja can distract ceramics well, sometimes it just sucks and you die. So I'm just wondering if my opponent will rush me. I'm not sure whether I should defend or get more income, and I just decided to do a little bit of both. But then my opponent sends infinite Moabs, and as you can see right here, at the start the ninjas seem to be doing well, but then all of a sudden the ninjas lost a ton of lives, and I die not yet, but I die right there. So that's one of the things about the ninja, because sometimes you die, but because the ninja distraction is really unlucky, and sometimes you survive. So that's a risk about using the distraction ninja, because sometimes you can do really well, and then sometimes it just completely fails on you and you die. So I know I probably should have gotten I don't know, some track sprayers or another Ring of Fire or something instead of just depending on those ninjas. But really, I don't think I would have completely defended those mobs just by how simple of a rush that thing would be. And if you guys have noticed, the amount of time it takes to find a match in the hacker pool is actually really long. Most times it takes over a minute, sometimes almost 5 minutes to find an opponent to play against. And that is because, and the reason for that is because there's not that many people in the hacker pool. There's a lot of legitimate players, but there's less people hacking. So therefore, and since you can only play against hackers if you're in the hacker pool, there's just a lot less choices of people for you to play against. So this game actually is going a little bit slowly. There's quite some lag here, but I just decided to roll with it. My opponent gets up a 2-1 ninja, which you can actually afford by this time. So he doesn't show his hacks yet, but he might later on. And boom, he gets a Bloons on round 3. That is literally impossible. If you guys can show me getting a Bloons on round 3 on Flash BTD battles, then I mean I will be amazed. But you cannot afford a round 3 Bloons in any map or any game in Bloons TD battles Flash. So yeah, it's pretty obvious now that my opponent is hacking. So, and the smart thing to do against hackers is actually don't rush, because if you rush too much, then your opponent might turn on life hacks, or he might get up a temple so nothing can get through. So don't rush consistently. But if you do want to kill your opponent, there's 2 choices, and there's one that I prefer. So the one that I prefer is to just defend. Don't send a rush and hope that your opponent won't send a rush against you, and hopefully you might outlast your opponent somehow. That's just a really low chance, but I like doing that. Now if you want to be risky, you can rush your opponent. Now I feel like that's really risky because your opponent can just get up a temple or something right away to defend your rush. So if you rush, it has to be a really unexpected rush and a really quick rush. Your opponent doesn't have time to react and defend it. Because if you send a really slow rush like a ZOMG takes forever to go through the entire map. And with all that time that your opponent has to defend it, he's probably going to defend it and you're gonna lose. So you really have to send a really quick rush, like maybe on a random round, just spam Regal Rainbows. That might work because because Regal Rainbows are actually pretty fast. So the hacker might not have enough time to defend it. So as you can see, I was really greedy in this video. I have over 700 income. If you're playing against a hacker, you shouldn't have that much. You really shouldn't have that much. And as you can see, I will end up paying for it because look at all the balloons that my opponent sends against me, and my opponent is sending Camo Region Blacks and then the infinite Camo Region Rainbows. If I was less greedy, I would have been able to defend that, but because I was greedy, even with all those Buccaneers and Bomb Towers I have, I am slowly dying. It looks like I'm actually successfully defending it, but then a few natural balloons leak and I die. So that's a lesson right there, because I was actually defending the rush really well, and the rush that he sent against me, I was actually obliterating it. But the problem was that the natural balloons, as in the balloons that come out by the computer, they just snuck under that rush and went through. So my opponent's rush didn't go through, but the natural balloons did go through, and that's something you also have to worry about. And as you can see, it's taking a really long time to find an opponent because as I said, there's less people playing in the hacker pool than in the regular game. So I had to excel that and try again because it was just taking so long. As you can see, I still can't find an opponent, and this is actually pretty interesting because what I thought was that there were so many hackers in Bloons TD Battles Flash that the time it takes to find them might actually be pretty fast, but instead it actually takes a really long time to find an opponent to play against. And if you're wondering why I'm choosing to play against hackers instead of telling NinjaQ, hey, I didn't hack, take me out of the hacker pool. Well, this is because this is just an alternate account. As I said, I got this account from someone else. I already have my own account, so I don't really care about the status that this account is in because it's not my main account. And I want to play against hackers for your entertainment because I noticed that a lot of people really enjoy watching hacker videos. It's really interesting to see how someone beats a hacker or how someone tries to beat a hacker. You know, a lot of people just like hacker videos, so I just thought maybe I should just use this account to my advantage so I can put out hacker content out for you guys. So that's the reason why I'm doing this. I personally, I don't like hackers, but I think facing them is actually pretty fun because it really tests how good you are at the game if you can beat an opponent who has infinite money. I mean, if you can do that, you're basically really good at the game. So as you can see, I changed the name of the account. So before it was Mr. Mrs. Aldoob or something like that, but I actually changed the account name. So yeah, these games did happen a few days after the previous games, but I did change the name of my account to Har Hunts Hackers. Yep, alliteration, same first letter, HHH, but you know, Har Hunts Hackers. So I just changed it because I felt like, you know, this is my account now, so why should I have to use the username that the previous user used? I should just use my own username. So I changed it from Mr. and Mrs. Aldoob to Har Hunts Hackers because that's basically the only thing that I do in this account. I just go on Bloons TD Battles and I try to find hackers. I hunt them down. So yeah, currently my opponent's defense actually looks pretty legitimate because he can actually afford that by now. But I can't actually. Does he have a Bloons Jitsu right now? No, he does not have a Bloons Jitsu yet. But you can't afford a Bloons Jitsu right now. Just throwing that out. The earliest you can get a Bloons Jitsu is around round 6, maybe early round 6 or late round 5, somewhere around there. I'm pretty sure it's round 6. But as you can see, my opponent looks like he's an actual player, right? Oh yeah, that's also something that I want to let you know. Just because someone is in the hacker pool doesn't mean that he hacks. Because sometimes people get placed into the hacker pool by a glitch. Yeah, there is a glitch that places innocent people into hacker pools. And then some people report innocent players, and then NinjaQ somehow believes them, and they get placed into the hacker pool for no reason. And then there's also people like me, where the previous user hacked and they got placed in the hacker pool, but now they no longer hack. So just because you're in the hacker pool, it doesn't mean that every single game you play is against a hacker. But yes, most people are hackers. At least 70% of the people in here are hackers. So I actually played a lot more games on this account. I think I played at least 15 minutes more, 20 minutes more of 20 minutes worth of videos more of this account on this account. But the thing is, they were against legitimate players, so I felt like I didn't want to put it in this hacker video. So it's round 11 and my opponent's defense still looks legitimate, and he's sending some income, so I mean that's actually legitimate, but he sent some Campbell beans, and that's when I started to get a little bit suspicious that that person might be hacking. So I can't be sure, but I do have to be a little bit suspicious. So as you notice, I am not getting any income whatsoever. I just have to be ready to defend against infinite rushes any opponent might send against me. And as you can see, the blues that he's sending against me are getting really suspicious. He sends pure zebras, and then pure camo zebras, and then pure camo pinks. So suddenly he seems to have a lot of money, like I just say right there. And he strangely has a lot more money now. And when I say strangely, I mean he's hacking. So right now, I mean, some people who are not as experienced at this game, I mean, I've played this game for over 2 years now, I think, I'm not even sure. But if you're sort of newer to this game and you don't have much knowledge about it, you might think that he might be playing legitimately, but I can guarantee that he's not. Because, I mean, there's just a lot of little things, like you can't send infinite zebras, you can't send all those camel zebras, but really the evidence is gonna start showing later, I believe. I mean, I actually don't remember all the games that I played, because I played some of these games I played a really long time ago, I mean well over a month ago, but I'm pretty sure he's gonna show that he obviously hacks. And boom, that's actually a huge piece of evidence. He has an aircraft carrier on round 21. He had an aircraft carrier. You can't afford an aircraft carrier on round 21 unless you stop your income really early. And as you can see, and if you look carefully earlier, at the time that he got the aircraft carrier, he was still sending balloons at the exact same time. I mean, you really can't do that. So I try to be a little bit sneaky and to send a camel ceramic, but it didn't do anything. So now I'm sort of getting worried, so I decided to do something really risky. Instead of defending, I decided to send a huge rush, and that rush actually looked like it did well, but unfortunately it did not work, and I had to blame Maelstrom's natural balloons. Unfortunately, I died before I could kill my opponent. So I haven't kept track of how many games. I believe I've lost every single game so far in this video, but I mean, that's so far. This video is not even halfway over, so you guys still have a lot more to see. So as you can see, we're on Volcano already against a person named Zero Losses. So if he's really confident that he has zero loss, that he's gonna get 0 losses, I can almost guarantee that this person is a hacker. And actually, I can guarantee that because I made sure that I only put hacker clips into this video, so I can guarantee that. And this hacker is actually somewhat different than the previous hackers that I faced earlier, because this person doesn't only have money hacks, but this person is going to show his life hacks really soon. Just look, the balloons are going through, and it doesn't look like my opponent is losing lives. Yes, he is losing lives, but look carefully at his lives. I'm sending red balloons, and just look really careful. Boom! It went straight to 0, and he's not, no matter how many balloons I send against him, he's not going to die to them. And why does my phone ring in seriously, every single commentary that I do, every single commentary that I've done in the past few weeks, my phone has rung. That's really annoying. So, I can't answer right now, I'm in the middle of a commentary. So, anyway, as you can see, I can send all these balloons, and my opponent just won't die. No, don't leave a message. Don't leave a message. Good, I don't want your message in my video. Anyway, so, as you can see, I'm sending so many balloons, and nothing is going through. He's not losing any lives. So, I mean, the only reason I'm sending balloons is for income. I'm not sending them to try to kill my opponent. I'm just sending the balloons for income. And as you can see, my opponent isn't away from keyboard AFK. He's actually still online because, as you can see, he's sending balloons against me. He's sending black balloons and pink balloons and everything. So this person is still on the computer. He's just not building any towers. He's just sending balloons. So I get a attack shooter. For round 8, I do need a Ring of Fire, because if I get that, which I do, then I can defend basically anything up until round 12 or round 13. I believe, yeah, I can defend everything until round 12 or round 13, because round 12 I need to defend against camels, and round 13 against regen rainbows. And as you can see, my opponent sends infinite regen yellows. infinite of them, but they just won't do anything because the Ring of Fire on this map is that good. So as you can see, they're not doing anything, and I have to get up my mortar to defend against Camel Bloons. So to defend against Camel Bloons, you need the Signal Flare upgrade, which is 0-3, but I recommend getting the 2-3 on most maps. Not necessarily all maps, but on most maps, getting the 2-3 upgrade is really good. And as you can see, my opponent has tried to send some region pinks against me, but that did nothing. And then he tries to send some region zebras at me, that won't do anything either. But here is where the real trouble comes. Round 13, remember how I said I would defend infinite camel region rainbows? He sends infinite camel region rainbows, but guess what? My defense is actually good enough to defend against infinite camel region rainbows. It's not often that you can defend against infinite camel region rainbows, but my defense can actually handle it. But what happens on round 15? Infinite camel region ceramics. So I have to get a few tax barriers to defend against ceramics, which I do. And as you can see, this defense can defend against infinite camel region ceramics too. So my defense is actually really good right now. And I asked my opponent mind surrendering. I highly doubt that my opponent is going to surrender, because he wanted 0 losses, and I'm pretty sure that he's determined to get 0 losses. And he said I could just leave this on. And this is where he starts to get aggressive against me. So I won't mention it, but you can just read the chat. You can see how aggressive he's getting right now, and you can see how aggressive I'm getting back at him. So I feel like this person should also be reported, not only for his hacks, but his behavior, because there are other players out there who are really sensitive, and he really shouldn't be this rude to other players. Anyway, it's round 18, and this is a pretty dangerous round because he can send Moabs against me or infinite grouped camel region ceramics, which are really deadly. So to defend against infinite group camel region ceramics, which he sends right now, I make a huge mistake, and my mistake is that I moved my mortar. If I did not move my mortar, I would have actually defended those. But because I moved my mortar, not all the Bloons were decamelized, and I ended up dying. Really bad choice by me, and it was a really minor error too. See, if I have just left my mortar pointed right there, it would have defended. I would have defended all the regions, camel region ceramics, no problem. Unfortunately, I moved it because I wanted to save a few lives, but that was a really bad choice by me, and I ended up dying. So now we're on Hydro Dam, and I am using a Buccaneer strategy, and this Buccaneer strategy is actually it's actually pretty good, but I'm not that good using it, if you know what I mean. But if you have noticed, I haven't used farms the entire video, and the reason that I haven't been using farms is because, as I said, I don't want to rush my opponent. I want the hackers to rush me, because if I rush my opponent, chances are that I'm gonna end up killing my chances are that my opponent will end up winning, because he'll defend that rush perfectly. And sorry, I actually put in a legitimate player. So if you saw the game a few seconds ago, that was actually a legitimate player. He was not hacking. So I did not mean to put that. I wanted this video to be pure hackers. Unfortunately, it somehow got in there. But I mean, that's actually kind of evidence that there are real players in the hacker world. It's not all hackers. So if you want to know why I have to prove every single time that my opponent is hacking, that's why. There are some actually real players out there. And as you can see, my opponent has an infinite life hack. He has 0 lives and nothing's gonna kill him. So I don't see why he's bothering with building towers and stuff, because he's not gonna die at all. I mean, even if infinite ZOMGs go through, that won't kill him. So I don't see why he's bothering with building the ninja. But I mean, I guess he wants to be safe, which is, I mean, kind of pointless because he has infinite lives, but I mean, he's just building anyway. So I once again use the typical strategy for Battle Park, but this time I decide I should probably just use the Buccaneer instead of the Spike Factory, because I have never used the Spike Factory in a real game in Blue City Battles. And even though it's better than the Buccaneer technically in the game, I've never used it. I don't have experience with it, so therefore it will probably be smarter for me to use the Buccaneer, because I have used that many times, so I know how to use it well. While the Spike Factory, I'm just kind of a noob at it, because I am a noob. I'm a newbie. I've never used it. Anyway, my opponent asks, "Are you hacks?" I'm just thinking, do you speak English well? But anyway, I say, actually, I can't even read what I said there, because the video that I'm watching right now while I'm commentating over it, it's actually a kind of a small screen, so I couldn't read what I said there. But Anyway, oh yeah, so I said, would you believe me if I said no? So he asked if I was a hacker. I asked, would you believe me if I said no? And he said no. And so I'm just thinking, what's the point of you asking me if you don't believe whatever answer I say? So I mean, I just keep asking him questions, and all he says is no. So I mean, I kind of give up. I'm not sure if this person is being dumb on purpose or if he's actually not that intelligent. I don't want to be offensive in any way, but his intelligence isn't really that good. But he might just be trolling me. I don't know. But as you can see, he still has his ninja for some reason. I don't know why he's bothering with that ninja if he has infinite lives anyway. But I mean, if that's the way he wants to play, that's the way he wants to play. So for round 10, I do need a mortar to defend against any region Bloons that he might send against me. But we'll see what I do. So I do get a mortar and I place it right at the start of the track, and I have to upgrade to Burnie stuff, which I do, and that Burnie stuff will really help against region Bloons. So it will really help against region Lead, region Zebras, and region Rainbow. So getting the Burnie stuff is really helpful. And of course you need to go further and get the signal flare to defend against Camel Bloons. So now that I have the mortar, I really don't need that ninja on top because I can already pop blacks with the mortar. So that ninja up there is kind of unnecessary. I'm not sure why I didn't sell it, but I just didn't sell it. Anyway, I'm being really greedy. I don't know why I'm being greedy, because at this point of the game I should actually be saving up to defend against infinite region rainbow rushes. But I'm just being really greedy and I just send a lot more income, which I'm not sure why I did, but I mean, I make choices that are weird. So yep, I finally did sell that ninja on the top, and I get up a few Buccaneers instead, which should do perfectly fine against any ceramics that might be sent against me. And my opponent, meanwhile, gets some more defense, which I still feel is really unnecessary because he has infinite lives, so why should he place towers then? And I mean, here's my thing about hacking. If you're gonna hack in Blue City battles, which first of all, I'm completely against that. You should not hack in any multiplayer game ever, because that just causes you to have a major unfair advantage over another player. But if you're gonna hack, then just choose one hack. Don't do multiple hacks. You can either do money hack or life hack, because if you do money hack, then you have all the money you need to defend perfectly. If you do life hack, you have all the lives that you need, so you don't need any money or any towers. So my opinion, do one or the other. Don't do both, because doing both is kind of pointless. So as you can see, I'm sending more and more income, and my opponent is losing more and more lives, but he won't die, because no matter how many Bloons go through my opponent's side, he won't die. So yeah, this is something weird because I'm being really greedy in this game. I shouldn't be getting this much income, because what if my opponent just spams BFBs on me on round 20? I would be totally unprepared because I am very greedy with my income. But luckily my opponent has not rushed me yet. But as you can see, if my opponent actually used that real defense in a real game without hacks, he would be dead by now. He can't even choose the right towers to defend, and if he's not trying to defend, then why place towers at all? You have infinite lives, right? Why try at all? So for round 22, I'm trying to egg my opponent on to send a Zeo MG against me, because I want to see how well I would do if I had to defend against my opponent. I mean, in a hacker rush. And my opponent said I know it or I knew it. I'm not sure. I knew it. Oh, and then he said bye. He surrendered. I don't know why he surrendered. I don't know if I was just bothering him, but technically that's a win against a hacker, right? I mean, technically I made him lose all those lives even though he didn't die. So, I mean, I don't know. You guys can consider that a win or a loss. Not sure. But just saying, it's really hard to be a hacker. And I mean, even the best legitimate VD battles player, I mean, they can't. Some of them will have a really hard time beating infinite money hackers if the infinite money hacker knows what he's doing. And this is something that I want to talk about when people title videos "beating a hacker," and people are like, "Oh my god, you beat a hacker! You're the best player in the world." Well, yes and no. It depends on how good the hacker is, because not all hackers are the same skill level. Just the same as not all game players have the same skill level. So some hackers will actually hack with skill, as in they will actually get good towers to defend, And then there are these hackers who hack, but their towers are so bad that they die anyway. So if you really want to be impressed about someone being a hacker, they have to be a good hacker. They can't just be some bad hacker that doesn't really do anything. But as you can see, this opponent, he lost a lot of lives, and his towers aren't that expensive, so is he playing legitimately? I don't know. Well, I do know, because once again, I placed only hacker videos in this entire video. So I just sent some yellows for income. I didn't plan to kill him or anything. All the balloons that I send before round 10, they're all income. I don't plan to kill my opponent. If I end up killing my opponent, then that's just how it goes, but these are all for income. But now I sent some region Nets, which my opponent gets up a sabotage. What? Whoa, what? He gets up a sabotage on round 11 right away. Now, if you look carefully, he was sending income. He was sending income at the same time, so he couldn't afford a sabotage. If he was a legitimate player, he actually could not afford a sabotage. I mean, a sabotage supply lines cost about $8,000. You can't afford an $8,000 tower right away if you're sending income at the same time. So if you guys still aren't convinced that this person is a hacker, well, guess what? I face him again in the very next game. But once again, this is loading for quite a long time, and I had to just restart because I was getting really tired of waiting. So I just X'd out and I tried again. But yeah, I will face this exact same person in the next game, and maybe this next game he'll show more of his hacks. You'll have to see. So once again, this is taking a really long time, and that's just one of the things that bug me while I play hackers, is that it just takes a really long time to find an opponent. And as you can see, this is the same person. You can check back, and yeah, it's the same person. And I choose another strategy without farms. So normally in competitive battles, I basically always go farms every single time. But this time, because I'm playing hackers, I choose to defend instead of rush, because almost anything that I send against my opponent, because he hacks, he can basically defend whatever I send. So basically it's my job to defend whatever my opponent sends, because I might actually have a chance of defending infinite ZOMGs or infinite region rainbows, which I showed earlier in the video. So I feel like I have a higher chance of winning if I defend rather than if I rush. So just throwing that out there. Anyway, my opponent once again just doing something very similar as the last game, getting up a double shot ninja along with another tower and losing some lives along the way. So this person doesn't look like he's hacking yet, but I'm telling you, the hacks will be more obvious later on in the game. So about 20 more minutes left in this video. So if you guys didn't notice, I did do my best to make sure that this video was exactly 1 hour. It might be a few seconds off, but really I think this video should be exactly 1 hour, unless I make some edits here and there that make it a little bit off. But yeah, this should be exactly an hour long video, because it's an hour special. It shouldn't be 59 minutes long or 1 hour and 10 minutes long. It's an hour, well, technically over an hour is fine because it's still an hour special, but I wanted to make it exactly an hour because I'm just like that. So I get up a Ring of Fire on round 8, and look, my opponent sends a lot of region yellows. That's a little bit suspicious. It doesn't mean that he hacks, because a lot of people can send region yellow rushes, but that's sort of suspicious. But if you've noticed, my opponent really hasn't been sending that much income throughout the game. I mean, he sent some, but really he hasn't sent that much. So that means that he should have a lot of money in the earlier game, but by the time we start going later game, as in past round 16 or something, since I have more income than him, I should have more money than him by that time. So look carefully. My opponent sends infinite camel region rainbows. Boom, that's enough evidence right there. A legitimate player can't afford that many region rainbows. That is, I don't even know how much. That's well over $10,000 worth of region rainbows. So that's just really expensive stuff. And yeah, you just can't afford that much. So once again, I'm waiting a really long time to find a match because this is the hacker pool. And sorry, I had to close my window right there. I am sorry if you heard that, because there's those really loud noise outside, so I had to close the window. But anyway, this is taking a really long time to find a match, which is really annoying, but that's the way the hacker pool goes. And I actually, now that I think of it, I probably should have just cut out the waiting, and I should have just cut out the parts where I had to wait, but it's too late to to do that now because I already commentated for 40 minutes by now. So this is just really long, and once again, over a minute of waiting. So this is just taking a really long time. So I mean, yeah, really long time. 1 minute and 30 seconds of waiting if the video was normal speed, but because I sped it up about 4 times, I think actually most of these clips they were sped around 3.5 times, but if a game was super slow then I actually sped it up a bit more than usual. But yeah, 2 minutes of waiting. This is just really long, but actually it's really good because that means that there actually weren't that many hackers in Blue City battles that got reported. Now technically that can be a bad thing because there might actually be more hackers out there that have not been reported, but yeah. So what do I do in this map? I was deciding that maybe I should get an attack shooter for Blade Maelstrom and Ring of Fire, but I decided to get the Boomerang Tower instead, and I actually got a 5th tower. I was thinking hard about it, and I ended up choosing it because, well, I was just thinking that maybe. Sorry, hang on. I'm gonna have to move my headphone. It's really annoying right now. So sorry if you hear a really loud noise. Okay, that's all. It keeps making this cracking sound. Well, hopefully you won't hear too much of that later on in this video. I apologize, technical difficulties here. Yeah, I really have to get a better microphone than this. It makes a lot of annoying noises. But yeah, I got a 5th tower, the Spike Factory, which once again I said I'm not really that great at using it, but I just thought that I should get it because why not? Yeah, I mean, I really wanted to beat this hacker for some reason. I don't know exactly why, but I just had an urge to win. So I start off with a Boomerang Tower, so that's actually kind of surprising because most games so far I use Bomb Tower to start, but this game I just decided I'll use the Boomerang Tower. Let's just try something new. So, and actually, the Boomerang Tower in this map, this is actually where the 3-0 Boomerang and basically a lot of other Boomerang areas. This is the map where the Boomerang flourishes. Now I know that Boomerang is also really good on Hydro Dam, so I would say that Hydro Dam is the best map for Boomerang, but Swamp is the 2nd best map for Boomerang. And look at my opponent. On round 4, he already has a Bloon Jitsu Monkey. This is a time where you can barely afford a Ring of Fire at this point, but he has a Bloon Jitsu Monkey, which is at least $1,000 more expensive than the Ring of Fire as the whole tower itself. But look at the Boomerang right now. He can defend Pink Bloons no problem, and this is why I like the Boomerang on Swamp, because for some reason the Boomerang is just really good on this map. I think it's because since all the Bloons are really close together throughout the entire map instead of just one long map, they're all close together, so the Boomerang can just bounce back and forth from one Bloon to another instead of having to go just in one direction across the entire map, and that's it. You know, here's the Boomerang with the Glade Ricochet. It just bounces everywhere. I mean, look at the Boomerangs. They just bounce in every single direction. But when it's round 8, a single Boomerang can't defend against Region Blacks and Region Whites, so you do have to get a Mortar or some other support tower to help you defend anything. But my opponent, so right now his defense looks pretty normal, but as I showed you earlier, just a few games ago, I can't even talk right now. Just a few rounds ago, he had a Bloon Jitsu Monkey on round 4, which you can't afford. So clearly, he is a money hacker. And because he's a money hacker, he's probably going to send an infinite region Rainbow Rush, right? And this is also a really good strength for the Boomerang on this map. Because as long as you get about 3 Boomerangs, 4 if you really want it to be safe, and I mean Glade Ricochets, 3-0 Boomerangs, then you can defend infinite region rainbows. And if you want to defend camos, then you have to get a Mortar, which I do right there. And look, infinite camo region rainbows, but my Boomerangs are just defending that 100%. And I had to move my Mortar around because it missed a few camo Bloons. That's a weakness to the Mortar. Sometimes it can't defend every single camo Bloon. But yeah, I somehow defended every single Bloon there. Oh, I did lose a few lives, but not a huge deal. I basically completely 100% defended an infinite camo region Rainbow Rush, because as I've said countless times in this video, a legitimate player can't afford that big of a rush, even if he's really greedy. And when I say really greedy, he gets up a lot of farms and sells all his towers to send that rush. A legitimate player would at most be able to send about 4, maybe 5 sets of camel region rainbows. But all these hackers, they've sent at least $20,000 worth of camel region rainbows. So, and I've actually defended them. I defended them twice now, so I'm really impressed. And if you look right there, my opponent sent infinite ceramics, and my 4 boomerangs and that ninja actually completely defended that too. So my defense is actually really good right now. It's actually looking great, if I could say. But I believe that I did make a wrong choice in this video. Now, I actually don't remember exactly what I did in this video. I mean, in this game, since I played it a few weeks ago, so I don't remember. But if I remember correctly, I believe I chose to rush. And in just a few rounds, I will probably send a rush. If I remember correctly, my memory might be wrong. But I believe I chose to rush against a hacker. So that's not necessarily the best choice, but I think I did it. But anyway, looking at my current defense right now, my opponent rushes me and sends infinite camel region rainbows behind that Moab too. And my ninja, my Moab maulers, and all my boomerangs completely demolished that rush. I would not be surprised if I was the first person that this opponent faced that could actually defend infinite region rainbows. Now, if you look at my opponent's side, it looks like he has no lead popping power, right? But actually, that Dartling gun, even though it looks like it's only upgraded to 2-1 where it can't pop leads, it's actually upgraded to 2-2. So there's a glitch where if you upgrade the right side first to 0-2, and then you upgrade to the left side to 2-2, then the Dartling gun looks blue. But if you do the left side first and then the right side, the Dartling gun looks purple, and purple means it can pop lead. So that's kind of a minor glitch, but I mean, I already knew that the Dartling gun could pop, that his Dartling gun could pop lead, so I just bothered not to rush and test. And all of a sudden, my opponent sends 1 BFB against me. Now, to defend against 1 BFB, I'm actually pretty fine. I mean, I was actually a little bit greedy, so I didn't have as much money as I wanted, but I should be able to defend against 1 BFB pretty fine. And my opponent did try to send some camel region rainbows behind that, but as you can see, I had, oh no, a lot of Bloons are going through, but I get up some turbocharges instead. And as you can see, those turbocharges actually were able to defend that rush. But the only problem with me getting those turbocharges, now I'm completely out of money. And I mean completely out of money. So I was thinking, should I defend? Yeah. So I got up just 1 cluster bomb to defend against anything my opponent might send against me, and I just chose to send infinite region ceramics because I had no money left. I couldn't defend any more rushes because I had to sell everything for the turbocharges. But unfortunately, my opponent ended up defending that rush with his Hydro rocket pods and ninjas, and I died to this hacker. Sad, but it happens. So I defended against that hacker, and we move on to another minute of waiting for an opponent. I'm getting pretty tired of this, aren't you? I'm pretty sure you're getting tired too of watching this, waiting, and surprisingly, wow, we are almost done with this hour special. Only 10 minutes left of me facing against hackers. So if you looked at my win-loss ratio from the start of the video to the end of the video, you'll see that it looks like I played at least 20 games or something, when in this video I only played around 10 games. And that's because a lot of the videos, a lot of the games I played, they were legitimate players, and that just shows that there are legitimate players in this video. Now, I didn't take out any hacker games because I lost or anything. As you can see in this video, I just put a ton of losses. But if I left any hacker videos out, that was probably because it was an accident. And the other reason why I didn't include some games in this video is because they weren't hackers, they were actually real players. So I didn't want to put real player videos in this oh my god, I can't even talk. I didn't want to put real player games in this video because this is a hacker video. Why should I put real player games in this video? And as you can see, look at the timer. I've been waiting for 3 minutes trying to find a player. That's how few players are in the hacker pool. Now, I thought that there would be more hackers, but there's actually that. And my opponent's name is random name blah 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 blah. Pretty weird, but I'll just go with it. Anyway, I go with a balloon income strategy on this map, but there's one problem with that. Even though I said it's better to use balloon income than farm income when you're playing attackers, I have never gone balloon income on cards and have done it well. So I've never done balloon income well on this map. So I'm at a major disadvantage already, and would you look at that, my opponent places a tower on the track. So, and then boom, look at that. Speed hack. So even though I actually sped up this video clip by, I think it was about 4 times, but as you saw right there, my opponent turned on speed hacks for a few seconds, and he will do that a bit more later on in this game. Right there, he just turned on speed hack, and you can tell that speed hacks because the monkey ace is moving at completely normal speed, but the balloons and the rest of the game is just so slow. So that's the way to tell the difference between lag and speed hacking, because if you can get a monkey ace and the monkey ace moves at normal speed while everything else moves very slowly, then it's speed hacks. But if the monkey ace moves slowly along with everything else as well, then it's actually just lag, or as some people call it, slow-mo, S-L-O-M-O, slow-mo. I'm not sure if that's a real word. It probably is, but I don't know. And if you look at the placement of my opponent's monkey aces, it looks like he might be using tower placement hacks, right? But now that I'm thinking of it, I just realized that this might be the map glitch. So for those of you who don't know, the map glitch is when you and your opponent get placed on different maps. And this glitch has not been fixed on Flash. I believe it was fixed on mobile, but it still has not been fixed on Flash. So it is a pretty major glitch overall, but Ninja Kiwi hasn't updated Flash in a really long time, so I don't expect them to fix this anytime soon. But if you look carefully, it looks like his monkey aces would be perfectly placed on the map Water Hazard. So if you don't know which map Water Hazard is, it's the one that looks like it's for golf or something. It's kind of I can't even explain it. You know, just go on Google, search Sea Develops Water Hazard, and you'll see a picture of it. So I believe that he's on Water Hazard, and because his monkey aces are placed perfectly for that map, because where he's placing those monkey aces, it's where the land is on that map, and where he's not placing it is where the water is. So the placement of his towers perfectly match how he will place it on Water Hazard. So I have my reasons to suspect that he's on Water Hazard, but then again, it might just be regular tower placement hacks. So not sure, but I assume that he's on Water Hazard. Anyway, as you can see, he turns on speed hacks once again. All the balloons just completely slowed down while the monkey aces just flew at completely normal speed. But it's round 13, and will my opponent send infinite camo region rainbows? Unfortunately not. Oh well, he sent a few, but didn't do anything. I sent one set of camo region that's hoping that the pineapples wouldn't hit it. But what it looked like to me is that he defended that perfectly. But then if you look at his lives, really soon, actually not yet, but when I was playing the game, I did not notice that he was probably on Water Hazard. I thought he just had regular tower placement hacks. But because he's on Water Hazard, the pineapples are placed in different locations on that map. So that might affect whether or not he loses lives to leads or not. And see, boom, right there, he lost 23 lives. And 23 lives is the amount of lives lost when a lead goes through your defense. So I believe that he was on Water Hazard and the lead went through because the pineapples just got placed down in different spots. So I mean, sorry, I didn't explain that very well, but hopefully you understand that. If you look carefully in the past few rounds on my side, you saw that my opponent was sending infinite camo region, leads, infinite region, a lot of stuff, but I actually defended that perfectly. And so basically right now I have a Bloonjitsu, Ring of Fire, and a cannon that I might upgrade to a Moa Mauler. But the weakness to this defense is, as you can see, infinite camo region ceramics. So what I probably should have done was gotten up a few blade maelstroms, but I was just deciding what I should do and what I should not do, that I couldn't do anything, and I ended up losing to that rush. Now, even if I have blade maelstrom, each time that you sell it and rebuy it, you lose about $500. So I would have lost a lot of money if I just kept doing that over and over. So even if I got blade maelstroms, I would have died because I would have run out of money anyway. So I mean, that wasn't a great play by me, but I don't think I would have done any better anyway. So only one game left in this video, and it is on Snowy Castle against the same person, the random whatever number, random name, and a bunch of numbers at the end. So it's against the same guy. So I decide, maybe this time I should rush, because last game he only had monkey aces, so he probably wouldn't have won against, I don't know, a ZOMG or something. So I'm thinking maybe this time I should rush him. And as you can see, I'm rushing him a lot. I'm sending red Bloons, and then he turns on speed hacks once again. Look, the snow is going at a regular speed, but then everything else is going slowly. And then look at his lives. He's gonna increase his lives to, I believe that is 500. I can't even read because once again my video screen is very small. But yeah, he has a lot of lives right now, so even if he leaks a lot of Bloons, he won't die. So I'm still sending Bloons because I want income. I'm not sending those Bloons to kill him. And once again he turned on speed hacks. So I don't know why this person randomly keeps turning on and off speed hacks, but I don't know, is he trying to just irritate me or something? Because if he is, that's kind of working. I'm getting really irritated at the speed hacks that he's turning on. Anyway, he's trying to send some pinks against me. I lose a few lives here and there, but really it's not worth stopping your income completely to defend a few pinks, because pinks aren't gonna kill you. I mean, unless you're a really bad player, pinks aren't gonna kill you. And he turned on speed hacks once again. I got really tired of that. But look, I sent a lot of black Bloons, but then he increases his lives again. Oh my god, he's supposed to die, and then boom, he increases the life hacks all the way up to the thousands. So I may have to get a lot of black Bloons through if I really want to kill my opponent here. But yeah, look, I got close to killing him twice. He was down to like 40 lives or 30 lives or something, but then he just increased it up to the thousands. So I really have to get a lot of Bloons through if I want to kill my opponent. And because he has only a cluster bomb, he can't defend against blacks or zebras. So I'm gonna try to take advantage of that. So what I'm gonna do is send some regen rainbows, because what's gonna happen is that it's gonna cause a regen farm. If you don't know what that is that the bomb tower is gonna pop the rainbow layer off to create 2 zebras, but then the 2 zebras are going to be regenerated back into 2 rainbows, so it just creates more and more Bloons instead of popping them. So I don't know why I kept sending zebras. I could just send regen rainbows like I do here, and as you can see, those are getting a lot of lives off it, and then boom. So instead of increasing his lives once more, he just made them infinite. So now basically I have no chance of winning unless my opponent disconnects. Really unfortunate, but that's just the way it goes. And I'm just still sending blacks because I'm just hoping, you know, maybe I might be able to kill my opponent somehow. I don't think that's going to happen, but it might work. I don't know. But I have to stop my income because I have to defend against a Moab rush, which my opponent might send against me. I don't know if he will, but he might. So my opponent has infinite lives, and no matter how many Bloons go through, he will not die. So there's no point in me trying to rush. All the blacks that I'm sending are just for income, not for rushing, because I need to get my income up. Anyway, it's round 20, and will my opponent send a BFB or something against me? It appears not. It looks like my opponent just lost so many lives, but once again, nothing. He didn't die because he has infinite lives. So round 23 is when the natural Moab comes out. So I really had to be careful about that. So to defend against the natural Moab, you can either get a Bloon Jitsu or you can get a Blade Maelstrom. I choose to get a Blade Maelstrom because the Blade Maelstrom is kind of a safer route, because you most likely won't die with the Blade Maelstrom, but if you use the Bloon Jitsu, you have to depend on a lot of luck. And my opponent just not doing anything, letting his bomb tower do its thing, which is not really doing much because he's kind of dying. But look, so many zebras and rainbows on his side right now, everything going through, but he's not gonna die. Round 25, more Moabs come out, so I do not have to use my Blade Maelstrom because my Bloon Jitsu actually defended pretty well. So I did not have to use my Blade Maelstrom there. But for the second Moab, I don't even have to use it there. So I'm actually doing really well at defending these. But unfortunately, if you look at the time of this video, the video is almost about to come to an end. But how will this game end? Dun dun dun. Okay, so what's going to happen is you'll actually see it really soon, because there's 30 seconds left in this video. He turned on his speed hacks once again. I don't know why he did that, but he turned on his speed hacks. And then round 27 is when the next Moabs come out, but my opponent disconnected from the game. I technically won that. I don't know if you consider that winning or not. I don't know. But that's technically a win because I actually defended pretty well, in my opinion. But yeah, that's basically it. So leave a like if you enjoyed and have an awesome day.